When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files. Over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things. So much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide. But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice.
Hey friends, welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. That was Thomas Massey, and he's talking about what precious few others in our government are talking about, including Dan Bongino, who helped cover all of it up. And by the way, as I record this, on the 25th of February, Candace Owens is set to come back after her nearly 2-week break, revealing the bride of Charlie. And boy, did that set the internet afire, with the knee benders all targeting Candace for being quote-unquote a demon and quote-unquote evil. Well, guess what? Even Grok knows it was a coordinated gaslighting attack to get everyone to stop watching Candace Owens and to stand with Erica Kirk, a woman who has been caught in lie after lie. And according to Grok, based on an exhaustive search of X posts using advanced keyword and semantic queries, Grok has identified over 50 individual accounts posting content criticizing Candace Owens for, quote, dishonoring Charlie's memory and yet defending Erica Kirk. According to Grok, these posts exhibit clear hallmarks of a textbook smear and propaganda operation, including linguistic homogenization, temporal clustering, astroturfing via bot-like or amplified accounts, and narrative framing designed to delegitimize Candace Owens while sanctifying Erica Kirk. And now we know for certain that many of these knee-bending Zionists took 30 pieces of silver, figuratively speaking, to bend the knee and bear false witness against Candace Owens. Well, she's back tonight with the bride of Charlie, and I, for one, will be tuning in, as I have since Charlie was assassinated, because there's truth coming from one source, and it certainly isn't the likes of Gunther Eagleman, Graham Allen, Steven Crowder, Nathan Livingston, Cat Turd, Tim Pool, the unfunny Rob Schneider, Brandon Tatum, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, or Bozo Dan Bongino, to be sure. None of them give a damn about who actually murdered Charlie Kirk, and they're wasting their breaths while they ignore the Epstein emails, the child sex trafficking, and the murder of children. We're going to talk a little bit more about all of this, and then we're going to be talking about your health and well-being, because you must guard your well-being if you're going to survive what's upon us. Friends, thanks so much for tuning in. Before we start, just a quick word about a valued sponsor. On January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium every year, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That means we're dependent on foreign suppliers for 98%, a critical vulnerability for national security, power generation, and advanced defense systems. This is where Atomic Minerals comes in. Trading on the TSX Venture under ATOM and on the OTC under ATMMF, this company isn't new to the game. It's a team with a history of delivering major uranium exits. Leadership includes members who were part of the discovery and subsequent $654 million sale of the Rough Rider deposit to Rio Tinto. Can they do it again? Atomic controls 4 100% owned uranium projects strategically located in the Colorado Plateau, America's historic uranium province, which has produced over 597 million pounds of uranium. Trading at an 87% discount to the peer group average, the company presents potential upside as the market begins to recognize its strategic assets and proven management team. Now, do your own due diligence. This is not investment advice, but with a government mandate, an experienced management team, and strategic uranium assets in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, Atomic Minerals is a company to be watched closely. If you want to learn more about this critical minerals story and the team that already delivered big results, check out the link in the description. A special thanks to Atomic Minerals for making today's interview possible. Hey friends, welcome back. Thanks so much for being here. Sean from SGT Report. I want everybody to consider 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour. Friends, we need to guard our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being, and of course our physical well-being at all costs, because war is openly being waged against us. And I wish no ill will on any human, but those who abused children. It would be better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and cast yourself into the ocean, folks. Former Norway PM, Prime Minister, attempts suicide after Epstein-linked raid, corruption charges, etc. If convicted, Jagland faces up to a decade in prison. Folks, why are the arrests happening only overseas? We've yet to see any high-profile culprits arrested here in the United States.
Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice, and Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice. When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things, so much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide. But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who has since been stripped of his royal titles due to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, has been arrested. Peter Mandelson, who previously served as UK's ambassador to the United States, resigned in disgrace from United Kingdom's House of Lords and the Labour Party, and he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway, Torbjorn Jagland, has been charged, but we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. What do we see? We see our FBI director celebrating in the locker room at the Olympics overseas.
We'll continue to follow this story closely because as much as I don't want to bring you down, I want you to know these people engage in Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer levels of unimaginable evil every single day, folks. And you can scroll through my Twitter feed to learn more. And I would advise those that are willing to bend the knee and take 30 pieces of silver to throw Candace Owens and other truth tellers under the bus. You ought to guard your spiritual well-being far closer because you can't take that back, folks. Once you're Judas, you're always a Judas. And as I mentioned that, I want to show this documentary about Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you guys realize that Sodom and Gomorrah, the two vast evil cities that were fallen by fire and brimstone from heaven above because of their evil, Genesis 13:13 recounts the truth. The men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. Folks, the remains of Sodom and Gomorrah exist to this day, right near the Black Sea, where you can still pick the 99% pure sulfur balls from the earth and light them on fire yourself. But today we're going to talk about health and well-being because, again, guard your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being in these times of tumult. Here's a tip over on Twitter from Jack Bly. Minimize alcohol and smoking. Both are poison. Take 11 plus minutes of cold showers a week. Now, I have to confess, I don't do that. I'm too big a wimp. We're going to get our guests' thoughts on that in just 1 second. But get 15 minutes of morning sunlight, of course, is critical as well. This triggers your internal clock, which will help you sleep better. Poor sleep equals low T. We've talked about this before with Dr. Bruce Fong. He's the medical director at Sierra Integrative Medical Center and Neutronics Labs. Doc, welcome back.
Hi, yep. Well, great to be here. And again, here all the way for Neutronics Labs today because we've definitely got some good stuff to tell you guys.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good information to share because, again, if you're not physically well, how can you be mentally well? And Ron Oliver, health and fitness coach to world champions like Roy Jones Jr. is back. Ron, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, great to see you. I heard you chuckle when I said I'm too big a wimp to take those cold plunges. Should I change my thinking on that?
Well, there's definitely lots of evidence to prove that a cold shower or a cold plunge can really boost your immune system. So, and if you are having a hard time with it, then you probably should do it just to build more, build yourself into a stronger warrior.
Indeed.
Face your fears,
Indeed. Well, let me ask you this too, as it pertains to warriors, red-blooded men in this country. If we go back a couple hundred years, the people doing this to kids would be pulled from their beds and hanged in the town square. Now, I got to ask you, sir, given that we all have low T, given that so many men in this nation and around the world now have low testosterone, is that a big part of the problem? Is that why these people seem to get away with doing what they're doing to kids without any repercussions? Or what am I missing, Ron?
I think it's been around for thousands of years. It's nothing new. It's just that it's become, it's getting exposed now, right? But back to what you were saying, guard your heart, guard your mind. The number one cause of disease is stress. Dr. Fong will agree with me. So
Yes.
it's wise for us to be aware of the things that are going on in this world that are evil, but we got to not get caught up into focusing on it because it's going to bring us down. It's going to make us depressed. It's going to make us angry. It's going to make us upset, and it's going to affect our health. So we don't want to be ignorant because that's not bliss, but we don't want to focus it. Whatever we put our attention on, that's where our energy flows, right? So it's good to be wise about what's going on, especially I'm a father, I'm protecting my children. I'm a very protective father, obviously, so I want to know about the dangers in this world, and that's the one of the man's jobs, right? But I got to stay focused on the good, the positive, on the things I'm grateful for, on my beautiful wife, my children, my friends. This amazing opportunity I have to be here today with you, Dr. Fong, and you, Sean, and share with the people some amazing evidence and products that we can talk about that will help people slow down the aging process and improve their health, their immune system, and help them put on some more muscle mass, right? So they can be strong in these days that we are faced to live with.
Oh, go ahead, Dr. Fong.
Yeah, I was going to say I absolutely agree with Ron. I think that we make our own bodies stronger, and if we make ourselves more fortified, we are going to be able to resist more of the terrible things in this world. It's even biblical. Remember what Jesus said, "My peace I give you, but not as the world gives you. In this world we will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Well, we can talk about some stuff here today that's going to do it from a physical standpoint. Obviously, Jesus was talking about a spiritual standpoint, but we can talk about that same passage from a standpoint of something that's natural, in that comes straight from nature, that we're bringing to you, that's going to help keep you strong as you are. And what I'm talking about is the fact that a lot of things we talk about aging, a lot of things we talk about, hey, I'm not as good as I used to be. Guess what? That's all about something that's now being termed andropause. It is the lack of growth hormone, and in particular, insulin like growth factor 1, which is stimulated to be produced by the liver in the presence of growth hormone. And we see all kinds of studies now out there that demonstrate to us just how important this is. I mean, we've talked about this before, but hey, there's all these wonderful growth factors. They keep us with a better body habits, meaning there's a little bit you get better muscle tone, you burn up fat better, and in that case, of course, you resist things like metabolic syndrome. Things like high lipids, sugar, or high sugar, which is insensitivity, and even high blood pressure. And there's all kinds of different effects from IGF-1 specifically that can help you with that. But now there's even some really cool stuff that we're seeing. And really briefly, there's one study that talks about these roundworms that they use for anti-aging studies. They showed that by introducing the deer antler, that we're about to talk about, the extract from the deer antler, that these worms suddenly were much more metabolically active. They were actually being have shown some very neuroprotective effects, and in essence, they actually lived longer. And it's been literally documented in that study. There's another study that's actually giving us more of the underlying science about deer antler. And as I told you last time, as being Chinese of descent, but being born and totally American now, it still blew my mind that how much my grandparents knew, and now we have science that actually backs it. This study, just really briefly, shows that the deer antler, the literally the extract that we're going to talk about here in the Neutronics IGF-1 plus, is just pure deer antler extract. We are now showing that there's a lot more than just the growth factors, which are about 18 of them in there. There's things for anti-inflammatory, which is prostaglandins. You have collagen in there. You have all kinds of peptides in there. But even beyond all those wonderful things that we've talked about in previous podcasts, we now have a new piece of evidence that blows everybody away, in that the stem cells in the rapidly growing deer antler put out these things called extracellular vesicles, which contain a specific gene that, get this, reactivate our own cells. They proved it in these bone marrow cells from like really, really old mice that were given this stuff, and they actually started reproducing, and they showed even signs that genetically they were getting stronger. And then later on, this same study was extended to primates, monkeys, and they showed not only that the monkeys were having brains that supposedly the MRI showed the brains were getting bigger, as opposed to, as we know, as we get aging, the brain starts to shrink. But the monkeys were much more active. They were much more coordinated neurologically. They looked a lot better. And it just really kind of really blows your mind. It shows that in one essence, that study concluded that the monkeys regressed, meaning went backwards in age by up to 2.5 years. So we have all this scientific evidence that shows what we've had in traditional Chinese medicine, at least written down for 3,000 years. But boy, people have known about deer antler probably much longer than that. And like we said before, it's the proverbial fountain of youth. It's the thing that could literally, help you to age in a great manner. But now we're showing you they can actually reverse aging, which is just incredible.
I got to tell you too, you mentioned neuroprotective effects. That means brain health, guys. And, what occurs to me as I try to wean myself off a testosterone cream that I got at Dream Body Clinic 2 years ago when I went down there for stem cells in my knees. Shout out to Dr. Josh. But now Ron Oliver's helping me wean myself off this stuff, which is good because I'm down to my last bottle, half a bottle. It's almost gone. And, I take IGF-1 plus and the testosterone booster to try to replace the T cream, which Ron recommends I do. Now, by the way, I think that this poor monkey Punch, we got to get Punch on testosterone booster so we can fight off these monkeys. Do you guys see this? This poor little monkey Punch has been rejected by its mother and is being constantly bullied by the other monkeys. And he always runs back to his little plushie toy for comfort. And it's kind of a sad story. But Ron, we're not just going to be talking today about boosting our T levels. We're going to be talking about aging better. And I think what's interesting, the study that Dr. Fong cites shows that the same compounds sports authorities have been trying to ban are now showing up in longevity research. What does that tell us, Ron?
Well, Dr. David Sinclair from Harvard, who's an anti-aging expert, he says that his opinion professionally is that aging is a disease. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. And I have been studying anti-aging for 30 years of my 35-year career. I'm 58, as you know. And I can tell you this, that I can also quote Dr. Duarte, who's a retired, brilliant doctor. He's 84 years old. Dr. Fong knows him. And he says that IGF-1, one of the things we're going to be talking about today with all of your listeners, is he calls it the miracle anti-aging molecule. And I'm going to agree with him 100% based on my own personal results and the results of all of my clients, which I'll tell more about in this podcast. And it's absolutely life-changing, in my humble opinion, because at the end of the day, right, let's just tell people really quickly what's causing Americans and Canadians to age faster than every other civilization in the history of man and on the planet today. And that is going to be the same thing that's causing low testosterone. So it's very interesting how they collaborate, how that is in alignment. So it's low cellular energy, cellular toxicity, and malnutrition. Now, we are not going to talk about detoxing today and all those other things, but we are going to talk about malnutrition. And in my 35 years, there's not been one person showed up out of thousands upon thousands of people that wasn't malnourished. How about you, Dr. Fong?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, in our clinic here at the Sierra Integrative Medical Center, we see a lot of patients with chronic degenerative disease. In fact, we see a lot of chronic Lyme disease, for instance, and we see a lot of folks as we treat them, what we're seeing is as they get better and get rid of infections and toxins and whatever else from their body, they're actually showing that their bodies is really slow to recover. And obviously, with the Nutronics Labs IGF-1 Plus, which is a pure deer antler extract, which gives you all the growth factors, again, that you have in the presence of human growth hormone, we're able to help these people start to recover a lot quicker. And again, that nutritional deficiency that Ron's talking about is our whole world. Everything seems to be less nutrient rich than it used to be. And we have active, let's say, chemicals that are interfering with our metabolism. I can talk about that from the testosterone standpoint with things that are estrogenic, like soy or pesticides, which block production and utilization of testosterone. But guess what? The same things we talked about before on that topic are the same things that are nailing us for every other metabolic function in our body. So we can really expand that out to everything. And unfortunately, as I see in my patients, they they need to be taught about eating better foods and knowing which foods are good for them and which ones aren't good for them. But on top of that, we certainly see a deficiency in the IGF-1 and other growth factors, which again, with the lack of growth hormone as we get older, we don't produce as many of these growth factors anymore.
Let me share this with you guys, and
Absolutely.
I want your opinion. So I didn't know this, but bovine colostrum is effectively banned by the NCAA because it contains insulin-like growth factor IGF-1. Now the NCAA lists IGF-1 along with substances like colostrum and deer antler velvet as prohibited because they enhance or have the potential to
Right.
enhance performance. But why is that? It's not as though they're steroids, and they're not fake. They're natural.
Well,
You
water
know,
enhances
yeah,
performance too. So are we going to ban water
yeah,
next?
exactly. But well, let me put it to you this way, guys. If I was the owner of that team, if I was the people that were investing in those athletes, the compounds, the natural growth factors, the same things that you produce in your body in the presence of human growth hormone, all you're doing is replenishing these things. Yeah, they're going to enhance you. You're going to work out better. You're going to put on muscle better. You're going to get stronger. You're going to have more endurance. You're going to repair your tissues when you get damaged, either from working out or injuring yourself when you're training a lot faster, but it is going to protect that investment that you made. And it's not steroids. It's not going to create an imbalance in your body. This is simply the greatest balancer there is. Again, the
Absolutely.
Chinese symbol, the yin yang. You have equal parts of the two different things. This is all that does. It makes your body be the best that it can be naturally. That's where I started using that. I stole the slogan, the recruiting slogan from the Army. So, but the whole point is we're recruiting our own bodies to make them as strong as they can be. As a physician, it makes my job easier if you're getting sick. I mean, I know that you're going to recover. As a owner of a sports team or as specific athletes, why would you not want your investment protected in the most natural way that does not cause them problems health wise down the line, as opposed to like say anabolic steroids, which cause all kinds of things like cardiomyopathy and basically other cases with other performance enhancers, kidney and liver damage. None of that happens with the IGF-1 plus the deer antler velvet extract, the deer antler extract that we have here. All of these growth factors, all of these peptides, collagen, everything else in that little bottle I just showed you, everything comes straight from the growing deer antler. And all those wonderful things I talked about in the study, that's in there too. I mean, every day there seems to be more research that's coming out that shows us that we were right on the money all along. And
Yeah.
now we're finding out the little nuances as to why that's happening. And so to me, I'm not going to use a bad word. I'm catching myself here. But to me, it's idiotic that people who are investing in professional athletes don't want to protect their investment. Every other investment you guys have, wouldn't you do whatever you could to invest them? Obviously, you buy insurance for like a property you own that it won't, if it burns down, you get money from that, right? Why would you not have a natural insurance policy to make you the best that you or your athlete the best that you can be? And goes for everybody individually too. Why not invest in your body and put that in so-called insurance policy or that hedging your bet, so to speak, to make sure you stay healthy? Because I can tell you, and I won't bore you with all the details, but I can tell you this is what's going to do it for you more than anything else.
Well,
The all the growth factors.
I
Well,
might have an
this,
answer for you. Here's my answer for you, Doc. My answer for you is that we live in upside down world. It's a fallen
Oh,
world
absolutely.
where the powers that ought not be at the NFL forced the players to take the bioweapon masquerading as a vaccine when the studies proved it was unsafe, at least if there were studies at all. And now we know that's true. And you remember the Buffalo Bills wide receiver that dropped dead? He was dead for 8 minutes on the field as they tried to revive him, and they claim they did. They brought him back to life, and he still plays football. I got to tell you guys, I have a hard time digesting that story. But Ron, the NFL made the players take an experimental drug to protect themselves from a boogeyman virus. I think that answers the good doctor's question, don't you?
Absolutely. See, right here in my hands, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bottle of the IGF-1 Platinum Plus, 1 million nanograms. And I'm holding this in my hands to tell you something about it. This is the most powerful anti-aging formula on the planet. I'm a man who's been studying anti-aging for my whole life. Even as a child, my mother and father were teaching me about natural health. This is how I was raised my whole life. Never had a vaccine. I don't do drugs. I have never even taken Tylenol. Okay. And this is my point. I'm eating the most clean diet money can buy, the best organic whole foods. I'm taking phenomenal whole food supplements, enzymes, probiotics, all these things. I've been doing it a long time. I haven't been sick for 30 years. But yet, when I started putting this in my body, along with the man's edge over here, incredible transformation occurred in my body where I am recovering from my workouts way faster. My cognitive function has improved dramatically. My strength has gone through the roof. It has changed my life. And this is a shock to me because I didn't think it could get a whole lot better. I feel fantastic. 6, 7 months ago, I would have told you, Sean, I feel 30. In the prime of my life at 58. Now I'm going to tell you that's not true. Now I'm going to tell you I feel like I'm in my early 20s, 2021. It really depends on how much sleep I get. You know, do I feel 22 or 20? It is absolutely life-changing. And the reason why is because even though I'm eating such a perfect diet, the best clean grass-fed meat and vegetables and all these things I'm taking, best whole food supplements, I was clearly not getting all of these essentials my body requires in this modern world where we have depleted soil and toxicity in the world from what I was doing, or there would be no difference. I wouldn't have this massive improvement. There's over 400 active ingredients in here. This is very important for everyone to understand because we're talking about active ingredients. Nothing dead can support life. These are living active ingredients. There's 40 compounds. There's 18 growth factors, all 21 amino acids. This is 50% amino acids. Now, the whole point of eating protein, everybody's talking about protein, is to get those amino acids into your cells, right? Most people are protein deficient even if they consume a lot of protein because they're not digesting their protein. And most protein supplements are garbage. Now I'm getting 21 essential, active, living amino acids in my bloodstream, 90% absorption in seconds. You can't beat this. You just can't beat it. There's nothing on the earth like it. And that's why I'm here today, because I volunteered for Neutronics Labs to represent their company because I fell in love with the company. I fell in love with the products. I fell in love with the owner. It has changed my life, and I want every American family and you know, the man, the woman to know about it because it will change their life, because there's no such thing as someone in Canada, United States, that is not malnourished right now, no matter how well they eat. Even if they're a health nut, they're going to be deficient because we're not getting all the nutrients we used to get out of our food.
Sorry for a quick break, guys. The rules of money are being rewritten right in front of our eyes. The institutions that control the financial system aren't waiting. They are acting. They're buying gold and silver at an unprecedented pace. They're preparing for something. The question is, are you? For nearly a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. As the world shifts to hard assets, the window to act is closing. Let Noble Gold show you how simple it is to protect yourself and your family. This is not investment advice. Always do your own due diligence and consult a licensed financial planner with big decisions. But while everyone else is reacting to the news, Noble Gold clients are positioned. They understand that when the rules change, you need assets that don't depend on the system. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com or sgtreportgold.com and download your free wealth protection kit right now. That's noblegoldinvestments.com or sgtreportgold.com. Because the rules are changing, you need to make sure you're ready. The link is below.
They're going to be deficient because we're not getting all the nutrients we used to get out of our food.
And out of the soil. And out of the soil. They depleted the soil of the natural nutrients through corporate farming.
Yep.
And
Yep.
instead of rotating the crops, they grow the same crops over and over and over again, which farmers going back a millennia knew you shouldn't do. You can't do that if you want to have
Exactly.
healthy, nutrient-rich food, Doc, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you get this. There's God, I think it was like 20, almost 20 years ago. I read this paper comparing the early 2000s to the 1950s with the nutrients that are in various produce. And oh my God,
Night and
it
day.
was something. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was like 1/50th. So I what is that? Like 2%.
It's like our currency. I mean,
It was like
literally, the
it blew
food
me
has
away.
held
I'm
its
like,
nutrient value like our currency has held its purchasing power. They've destroyed everything on purpose. So, of course, they want us sick. They
crazy.
want us dependent so that you'll
Yeah,
run out and ask your doctor if Humira is right for you.
oh yeah, it's insane. I mean, I'm sitting there literally shoving a Brussels sprout into my kid's mouth, trying to get him to eat a Brussels sprout, and I'm reading this article, and I'm going, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. Let's
Yeah,
just go
what's the
get the ice
point?
cream.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
it's like forget it, you know. And let me tell you something else, but what Ron's saying is absolutely so true. All those wonderful things, living active ingredients. Remember, what's in this bottle, the IGF-1 plus, is a living growth matrix from growing deer antler, not stagnant stuff that's about to fall off, not stuff that people find on the ground and ground into powder and try to use it as a product. This is literally a living growth matrix. And we have third party verification of how much of the IGF-1 in particular is in a bottle. In this particular one, it's a 300,000. We've had third party verification showing us that that's actually what's in there. We are the only company that actually has that third party verification. We're the only company that actually has this level of purity and can have these concentrations. In fact, the other big thing about this product I'm just going to get into it now because of how important it is that it goes right into your bloodstream. Every one
Yes.
of the products from Neutronics Labs literally is in a liposomal delivery system. And if you break down the words, like I teach my students, liposomal means the first part is fat, lipo, right? So why is that so important? Because you have these things called capillary beds under your tongue. And all these things are liquids introduced under the tongue, and that fat-based delivery system helps to get these compounds right into the bloodstream through those capillary beds, which are designed by the Almighty Himself as exchange beds. You've probably seen people, somebody with having chest pains. They don't swallow a pill of nitroglycerin. They take nitroglycerin and put it under their tongue and let it dissolve because it goes right in the bloodstream. It's a potent vasodilator, so it opens up the blood vessels, and then the chest pain goes away. If you swallowed it, you would have to absorb it through the stomach, go through the small intestine. You're talking like 30 minutes before you get the med there. That's stupid. So, I mean, that's why the sublingual route is known even in the conventional side. But on the integrative side of things, we've known that for many years. There's a lot of homeopathics, for instance, that are done under the tongue. But in particular, getting these growth factors, these peptides, these amino acids, the prostaglandins, all the wonderful things we talked about, getting that right in your bloodstream is incredible by going away that we don't have to stick a needle in you. Okay. And that is something you can do every day. Again, we'll talk about dosing, probably later, but the issue really is this stuff goes in there and it has a 98 percent plus absorption rate. Again, this is third party verified that our product had a 98. I don't want to misquote the tens, but something like 98.6% absorption. So what you're getting, you're pretty much
Incredible.
getting right in the bloodstream. It's just it completely blows my mind as a physician because we always have all that things like first pass metabolism where your stomach destroys things and whatever. We have all these things like, it has to be processed by the liver with other things, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, whatever. This goes right in your bloodstream and it's bioactive. It's ready to go just like that. And all those wonderful things we talked about, all those incredible growth factors, they go where they need to go right away. And it's just that alone. And now the emerging science of saying that for thousands of years, these ancient Chinese guys who initially passed their knowledge on by word of mouth and later on wrote it down, and that we continue to work with here in this current day is actually being verified. And it's just really gratifying. It just makes me feel really warm inside.
Yeah,
And it's incredible. Yeah.
well, the other thing too, and it's good news, is no needles. You don't need a needle to take this product. But one thing, candidly, I would share with you guys is it gets a little confusing about which products to buy. You have so many products, and I didn't want this thing just to turn into an advertisement, but I want people to be aware of
Right.
where they can get this stuff. I'll leave the link below. In terms of which products to get, I'm in my 50s. As Ron knows, I work out. I'm pretty lean, 5'11", 11 and a half, 173 pounds on a good day. Call it 175. So I'm not obese. I'm not overweight. I do like to work out. On a bad workout day, I'll do 100 push-ups. I'll do 35 dips and 10 pull-ups, sometimes 12 if I'm lucky. So for somebody like me, who I think I'm still targeting fairly normal testosterone levels, Ron, which products should I buy? And then let's talk about dosage because you guys have so many products, it gets a little confusing. For instance, I have Man's Edge in my hand, testosterone
Yeah.
booster. Then I
Yeah.
have IGF-1 plus 300K and IGF-1 plus 600K. So it's a lot, and I just want the audience, let's hold their hand through this thing.
Well, those are the three products that I'm using. I've been on those three products for just over 6 months now straight. And I can tell you, I don't know anyone that's more fanatical about their diet than I am. I'm extreme. I've even been called the food Nazi, after the soup Nazi on Seinfeld, okay? And yet I'm on a athletic dose. I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot 250. And I got all my clients on an athletic dose because they're all working out, right? So don't be afraid to take the product. Don't be afraid to take a decent dose because when you're starting out, you're going to be deficient. You're going to be depleted of many of these things. There's no way anyone out there in this toxic world with the soil being depleted, the food chain being so messed up is not deficient in literally everything in this bottle. So in the first couple of weeks, I would suggest you take a pretty strong dose for your weight. I would suggest you take minimum 2 full droppers full of this 3 times a day. Do the same with the 300 with Long Jack and the 300,000, sorry, the 600,000 IGF-1. Take those three products. Do that for a month. You'll be blown away. You cannot waste the product. It's going to be absorbed. Your body's going to utilize it. Remember, this is not like a supplement where you swallow it and you get terrible absorption. And this is such a huge point that Dr. Fong's talking about because in my whole career, I've seen all the diets come and go. I've seen all the fads, the peptides, and the meat diet, and you name it. Atkins back in the old days, and creatine, and everything that's come along. TRT. It used to be impossible to get testosterone. Now anyone can get it from any doctor, right? Now they call it TRT. Now,
Right.
You want to go natural if you want long-term results. So that's 100%. You'll never get me taking a cream or a synthetic peptide or TRT, any of that stuff, because I'm not interested in short-term results, short-term gain, long-term pain. And I'm interested in being fit and strong my whole life right till the very end, right? Till I take my last breath. So I'm always going to be natural. Now, what's very important is there's a massive contrast, whether we're talking about supplements or food, between consumption and utilization. For you and your viewers, it is absolutely miraculous that there's 98% plus absorption. That's unheard of in the world of supplements. You're never going to get anything like that swallowing anything, even if it is an awesome food or supplement. Now, because everybody's deficient, even men who have low testosterone and have low estrogen production, we can put them on a good diet. That's not necessarily going to help them right away because their hormone receptor sites are clogged up. So even if they're on a proper diet, they're not going to uptake these hormones their body's producing. It's not even getting their bloodstream. That's why there's a big problem in addition to, the poor nutrition and everything else. With this IGF-1 product and the Man's Edge, it's going directly in your bloodstream, available in seconds. I take it literally right before I work out. Within a minute, I'm working out and I'm already feeling it. That's how fast it gets into the system, And then right after my workout, I take it again. Why? Because I want that advantage fuel from my workout. Right when I leave my gym, I'm finished working out. I want to have a fast recovery. So I take another dose right after the workout. Okay. And that will absolutely accelerate your recovery.
Should the product be refrigerated after opening, or is that not necessary?
That's not necessary.
As long as you keep it at room temperature or less.
Keep it out of the light. Keep it out of the heat,
Exactly.
But explain for me in the audience, again, it gets a little confusing, the difference between IGF-1 300K and IGF-1 600K.
Great question. Okay, so I got the 1,000,000 nanograms in my hand right here, okay? So we have a product for everyone. if you're 20 years old and you eat super healthy, you might not need the million nanograms. So you could go on the, 300,000 or the 100,000. It all depends. But in my opinion, I don't put any of my clients on anything less than 300,000 nanograms because I know they're very deficient and I want them to have an amazing experience, which is why the special on right now is a free bottle of the 300,000 with Long Jack, because the company wants people to experience this, because once you try it, you're going to be blown away. I guarantee it. And it's because of that bioavailability. The absorption is so incredible that, like all my top clients, you think about it, I've been in this business 35 years. I've seen thousands of supplement companies come and go. Most of them are selling garbage, okay? Most of the whole food meal replacements are garbage. Most of the supplements out there aren't worth their weight of the bottle. But this is something completely different. I know the owner personally, Dr. Rick Lentini. He is an absolute, class act, and he takes pride in this company. It's a family business, 25-year veteran run company. He's not going to allow anything to go in this bottle that's not pure and natural and safe for his family. He takes it himself for 25 years, right? And I won't put it in my body if it's not safe. So there's no steroids, no drugs, none of that stuff. The results are second to none because it is the most powerful source that I've ever seen in my life of all these compounds, all these active ingredients, the growth factors. These are all things that we're all deficient in. I was surprised that I was deficient based on how well I eat and take care of myself. But I really shouldn't be surprised because I'm living in 2026, right?
Right.
50 years ago, it'd be a different story. 200 years ago, it'd be a different story. 500 years ago, we wouldn't need any of this stuff. We could just drink water and eat food. We'd be fine.
Well, explain this, though. Will you just explain this for the audience and me, because I have the bottles in my hands.
Yeah.
The Men's Edge Testosterone Booster, that doesn't have IGF-1 in it, or does it?
It does. But that's just to help it be more effective as a formula booster, right? So there's lots of evidence that IGF-1 will help with your hormone production as well. So this is the ultimate formula for men who want to get their masculinity back and become strong again, mighty again, whether it be in the bedroom with the wife or in the gym or just on the work site, construction, whatever. That is the ultimate. I've tried them all. There's nothing that compares to this. That's why I'm putting on my clients. You got to think about it. I'm a boxing fan, right? I grew up watching boxing. My favorite boxer of all time was Roy Jones Jr. He becomes my client. Just use common sense, which I call uncommon sense. Do you think I'm going to recommend these kind of things to my hero of all time boxing, my friend, my client, and ruin my reputation telling somebody to take a product that isn't amazing? Right? No way. Not a chance. I'd be an idiot, right? So I'm only recommending this. The only reason why I'm here right now is because I know that if anyone listens to your podcast, listens to my advice, Dr. Fong's advice, buys these products and uses them, they're going to get amazing results. And my name is continuing to be good because they work. Right. They work for everyone because it's the bioavailability. There's a lot of people that'll buy a supplement and there'll be a big range of people getting results. Some feel nothing, some feel something. That's because of the bioavailability. It's the same product, 37 different people. Why? Because some people have poor absorption because their body's less healthy than someone else, right? With this, it doesn't matter how unhealthy you are today. Don't matter how old you are. Don't matter how young you are. 90% absorption is across the board for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Let me ask you, you mentioned a free offer of IGF-1 300K with Long Jack. Let's talk a little bit about that. And
that's 25,000. There's a 300,000 with Long Jack. It's a little further down. That's the plain one with 300,000. There's go a little bit lower. I think it's right there, the first one on the left.
Okay. How do people take advantage and get the free product?
So what the promotion is right now, and again, I agree with Ron. We have the most potent testosterone booster that helps you to make more testosterone, as well as utilize your testosterone and increase your circulation by increasing nitric oxide in your body through the Nutronics Labs Man's Edge. And this is the most potent, most wonderful natural product and the best way to get your testosterone up, guys. We also have a ladies formula, which is the IGF-1 women's formula. Thank you, Ron. I never
stole my wife's bottle.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal somebody's bottle because I keep selling out of this one. It also starts off just like the Man's Edge with a lower concentration of the deer antler velvet And then basically we in the women's formula we add on things like boron for hormones, the B vitamins for neurologic health, iron, vitamin D for bone health. There's calcium in there as well, and cranberry extract, for instance, for urinary tract issues. But that's the best all-in-one formula that I've ever seen for women. And again, Neutronics Labs is quite proud of the research we did on that to come up with that. So again, if you go to the website and you actually go on what's called autoship, which is where we actually have you get you sign up for a bottle every month to be shipped to you, then you would immediately get 50% off of the price of the individual one-time sale, and you would also at this point get the free bottle of the IGF 300,000 with the long jack in it, the one we were just looking at. And again, this is it's our sort of gift to you from Neutronics, because we want you to feel how potent this combination can be for you. And same thing with the ladies formula, the women IGF women's formula that you again get on the subscribing a monthly, and you get one bottle of that every month. You get again 50% off of your of that product, and again a IGF-1 300,000 with long jack with that, so that again both sides can feel the absolute incredible benefits we have with this. And again, once you try it, the compounds will make you feel so good that you'll want to just stay on those on your own.
Yeah.
And I believe oh, I'm sorry. We need to. I think we have a specific. I'm sorry. There's the only thing I'm going to look at my notes here. Yeah, I think the big thing here is that we have a URL for you specifically, and it is Neutronics Labs, NUTRONICSLABS.com /SGT. And when you go there, there's a place where you can add a code that you put SGT in there, you save an extra 10% off. That's because we are so appreciative of being on the show here with you. We want to take care of you, your viewers. And again, from a standpoint of myself as a physician, I actually try to utilize all the various doses for individual needs. And like Ron said, to put it all in a nutshell, it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on your activity level. And as a
Age.
physician, yeah, in your age, and as a physician, I start people at a specific dose that I feel is appropriate for them. And then we typically work our way up. I usually start at the label dose and then work my way up from there with the individual patient that's looking for that. And I want to actually point out also that I want to give a shout out to the owner of our company, who is a brother from another mother for me, Rick Lentini, that this all started because of his cousin who had ALS. He was given like just a couple of weeks literally to live, hunched over in a fetal position, not able to do anything. And I'm going to give a shout out to my mother, Dr. Katrina Tang, who actually worked with Rick, came up with this the exact growth factors that we're talking about, this extract from the deer antler, and was able to create an intravenous form of it that it was able to not only recover Rick's cousin, but Rick's cousin lived 15 years beyond where they gave him the death sentence with the ALS.
Wow.
So that's where this all
Walking
started.
around living a normal life.
Yeah, I having great quality life. And so obviously we wanted to bring this to people because we could help people, but we can't go around sticking needles into everybody, like I said. So that's why it's so important that that liposomal delivery system was developed. And this is all kudos out to Rick Lentini for staying strong, staying devoted, coming up with the right research to put this all together into the single bottle that you see in front of you here today.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, final question for you, Ron, specifically.
Yes,
Very few of us eat as cleanly as you eat.
I'm aware.
I guess for the audience too, because a lot of times depression, people that are feeling strapped, you feel
Yeah.
depressed for various reasons. Economically speaking,
Yes.
people are really
Yes.
feeling the pinch right now. A lot of people turn
Absolutely.
to alcohol for comfort. Let's just talk briefly as we wrap this up. Clean food, cut the alcohol out of your life or limit alcohol intake. How important is that for listeners that want to turn things around for themselves? Certainly, having healthy T levels, having a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy spirit is key. to winning this battle and surviving. But for those who don't eat as cleanly as you do, what's your advice?
Number one, I want everyone to listen to me very carefully. The number one thing you need to understand is that trust must be earned. And I understand there's gurus all over the internet, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all telling you all kinds of stories. They're all over the television. You know what? Make everybody earn your trust. And I don't want you to trust me because you don't know me. So, but I'm going to give you some advice, and I guarantee you, if you do what I'm going to tell you to do, it's going to give you results immediately. So, number one, the most overutilized antidepressant is food. People eat because they're depressed, and they eat things that taste good, makes them feel good for a short time, and then they suffer for the rest of their time, right? Number two, most underutilized antidepressant is exercise. So get off your butt and exercise. Just do it because it'll help you. Now, understand that modern man has become so toxic, so malnourished that we're barely functioning. We're just holding on. And if you're not healthy in your body, you're not going to have a healthy mind. It's just not possible. If you don't have a healthy body and mind, you're not going to have a healthy spirit. Anyone who tells you some other story is giving you a story. That's not possible. You have to live in a body, right? This is where we live. We live in the body. You want a healthy mind, you need to have a healthy body. So what you got to do is understand that your health matters. Your life matters tremendously. And if you want to get out of your situation feeling tired, sick, old, fat, or depressed, or you don't have enough money, understand that if you start using exercise as that antidepressant and you start paying attention to your health and you start putting a product like this man's edge in your body if you're a male, or you put this female formula in your body if you're a female, and you take this IGF-1 formula, I promise you this is the best bang for your buck. Understand, I'm only saying this to you because it's the truth. I don't benefit one dime if you buy it or you don't today, okay? I'm not making 10 cents to sit here right now. I'm telling you this because I care about my fellow man. I care about Americans. I care about Canadians. And I'm putting all of my clients, and I'm telling you what, my clients pay me a lot of money to learn. You gotta understand that you got to make yourself healthy. Your health matters tremendously. What's more important about your health than your health? Come on, Sean. What's more important than you and your wife and your children being healthy? Nothing.
No, that's right. No, your health is your wealth. We talk about that a lot on this show. And the last thing I want to say, guys, is we'll come full circle. We'll kind of end where we began, which is be sober-minded, be watchful, because the devil prowls looking for someone to devour. But the other thing is, I really like this, Romans 12:2, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. How about Philippians 4:8? Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right and pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Stop thinking about what the evil ones do in darkness. Let's let God sort that one out. Because I tell you what, God's wrath is coming for these people. That's why when they get pinched by the Epstein emails, they seek suicide as an escape. Ladies and gentlemen, we provide different information on this show. We provide truth, light, and health. That's our goal here today. I want to thank you both so much for your time. Dr. Bruce Fong, good to see you again. Appreciate you, sir.
Let me share one last point.
Yeah, you bet.
For you ladies and gentlemen who have been listening to this podcast, if you're even thinking about it, you need to go do it because you cannot lose. You cannot waste your money because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, number one. Right. So you're not taking a risk at all. And for just buying the man's formula or the female formula, you're getting this bottle of 300,000 nanograms of IGF-1 that we're talking about, all those growth factors, all those compounds, those 400 active ingredients. I could go on and on about it. Just do it. Just go buy it and watch what happens. And go on the autoship because you get that 50% off. If you use the SGT code, you get another 10% off. So you're getting 60% off your first order. You cannot lose. And if it doesn't work for you, phone the company before the 30 days and return it.
Perfect.
Okay? These guys have something so special. I want to be someone who's a part of bringing this out to America and Canada because I've watched my fellow man, Canadians and Americans, health go down the toilet for the last 35 years in the business. And it truly upsets me. And I want to see Americans and Canadians get healthy again, like we used to be 50 years ago.
Are you up in Canada? Is that why you
Yes,
keep
sir.
saying that? Okay. Well, and
Yeah, I'm
just
in
so the
Canada,
audience
eh?
knows, this is horrifying. 1 in 20 deaths in Canada is now directly attributed to government-assisted suicide. 5% of the deaths in Canada. And why? Because people are depressed and desperate and in pain and sick. And what's the government say in Canada? Well, we can't provide any services for you, but we can help you kill yourself. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's insane.
full stop, upside down world, insanity. We have these
Yeah.
conversations because we genuinely want you to be healthy. And by the way, you guys got me fired up today. I'll tell you what I normally do. I'll edit these things and then I'll try to go work out around 5, 6 o'clock. The sun's already going down because it's winter. It's a nightmare. I don't like working out that late. I am getting off my butt today. I'm going to work out while the sun is still out, and then
Right
I'll come
on.
home and I'll do this edit later today. I want to thank you both for
Sounds
your time.
great.
Thanks, Bruce.
God bless you.
My pleasure.
Take care, guys.
God
Right.
bless you,
Bye-bye.
sir. Ron Oliver,
Peace.
thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Man.
Good to see you.
Bye, guys.
Friends, the links are below. Code SGT to save 10%. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll remind you every single day for free. Check us out to get the real news 24/7 at sgtreport.com. Until next time, God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.
So I've got to pay my taxes, make sure they get it on time so I don't get in trouble, and I got to make sure I drive the speed limit, and I got to make sure I'm on time to work every day, and I got to make sure I put in enough hours at work. I got to make sure that I reach a certain age before retiring. I got to make sure that I have enough money in my 401k to survive. I got to make sure that I make $114,000 as a single adult in New York State to make sure that I survive. But they can eat kids and take all of our money to pay people to buy their kids, and if they don't buy them, they kidnap them. They're eating kids.